entire channel is now ad-free, courtesy of YouTube. I can't really keep up with toy reviews anymore in this state, so if you are willing, you can support me on my Ko-fi and Patreon. You'll get shoutouts and access to bonus content, maybe even a chance for a special request.
Hello, it's KRBrickBot, and the most interesting development of Mecard Ball was the introduction of big mecha figures, like fully articulated, manually articulated big mecha that are compatible with the traditionally auto-transforming toys, and is of course appealing than just simple auto-transforming toys that just transform and do a trick. Which was introduced in summer of 2022 at the end of Season 1 Part 2. The first one, Grandeborn. And then of course when Mecard Ball launched in China in 2022, they did run the natural course to the end of Season 2. Coming to 2023 now, they also just released the toy of the Grandeborn. And thus, a Chinese toy event is now available on AliExpress and other sites, which means it is cheaper to get it from China than Korea. And not just because of free shipping, like the actual retail price is actually a bit cheaper than the Korean retail price. Yeah, so I just had to get it at a slightly more affordable rate, and I was under the impression that this thing would just be identical reproduction of the original Korean toys, but is that the case? Let's find out. Starting off with key difference number 1. The actual set includes the Redron Mecard figure. It tends to go with this Grandeborn. This was included with this set, not sold separately unlike the Korean one, so yeah, thank you. They actually have a whole set of that, and also Redron sold separately in China and Korea. Yeah, so just started with a little guy here. Yeah, the traditional Mecard. Transparent red, like a bit of a canopy, a small canopy more in the back. I guess white prongs and headlights. Yeah, just of course the standard affair of stylized Mecard. And of course, just roll the ball in there. Yeah, it captures the likeness, the upper half likeness of the animation model. Get down to the overhanging kibble that the animation model decides to keep, and the big car shoulders. Spring-loaded elbows, yeah, and the frictionless shoulders. So that's a thing, and then actually I prefer just the green ball because, you know, that is the one that is shown in the show. Yeah, but this is just a little character that's not the main feature, of course. You know, the main feature is the big guy. The Chinese Grandeborn set also includes one of the Mecard Ball pickers. Yeah, this neat little contraption, which you untwitch and latch, and then you just pull it up, and then the ball magnetically goes in there, so you take a ball out of there. Yeah, it's a good way to get the random assortment of balls. I guess it's up to 6 or 7 maximum. Yeah, so these are the Korean balls, but this is a Chinese Mecard Ball. At first, they look identical. Yeah, but the main difference with this thing is that the Chinese version actually includes extra molded rock, paper, scissors. Or just papers. I guess it's just a random assortment, just like the regular Mecard Ball. So, unlike the Korean releases, which usually include 5 balls for like the big ones, this particular set, as I received it loose and shipped, only came with like 3 of them. So yeah, I just got 2 paper and 1 rock. You can see that. Yeah, interesting. This is like a Chinese development for Mecard Ball. I guess this is a good way just to play just with the balls and not just like the color coding or just whoever gets the ball first. So I guess if you pick the ball and then just, you know, play rock, paper, scissors. Yeah, that's an interesting way that it's only exclusive to China, which is gonna be hard to do with just the Korean balls. Yeah, so it's a mighty fine thing to integrate these Mecard toys into the bigger toys that are more appealing than just outside gameplay. So yeah, just drop that right down and then latch it in, and then there it's powered up. Click on the head. And you should note that this cavity here and the upper arches is specifically shaped to fit exactly only Redron and his random exclusive limited edition metallic shiny golden decos. Yep, so this will not work with any other Mecardables unless it's just by sheer coincidence that any other Mecard from even not from Mecard Ball fits exactly or smaller than Redron's window shape. And then launch 2 balls in the shoulders, so you could just put it in randomly, but I would prefer just to line up the Mecard symbol with the front, and I guess in this case the Converge ball, I could just show the red half of the ball to give it like symmetrically colored shoulders, even though in the show they would be green. And then the extra black ball as a projectile. Oh yeah, once you get out those wings, yeah, this is like very interesting color scheme of dark purple and black and silver, and a little bit of a minty green bluish, mintish bluish green. Yeah, and it has significance being like one of the very few rare villainous mecha Korean toys. Yeah, of course, introduced as like an ultimate weapon from the evil organization of the OMS in the show or whatever. The pilot of Redron and Grandeborn is Ben Reinhardt. You know, I guess that mysterious and broody anime archetype. The kid Mecard pilots aren't really evil, they're just kind of misled. But of course, there's gonna be like an ultimate evil that just kind of misguided them, and that I guess you could call Reinhardt the Mecard Ball's Van Dyne of Mecard. Okay, back to the more interesting robot, which is a toyetic likeness of the main show character, which looks close enough, but there are proportional animation style differences. I mean, yeah, they really shrunk the torso and the little Redron and the head and the limb proportions. Yeah, so yeah, if you compare that stylish humanoid to this toy, which is a little fat, it's a little wide because it has to have this central rotating block for the transformations. Even when it's not a little car stylistically transforming to a mecha, and this is just a toy directly transforming into a mecha, they just have to stylize it. But I guess if you just look at the toy by itself and don't care about the anime, you know, I guess it's just a good enough toy, good enough multi-changer toy. And then now getting into the main key difference between the Chinese and Korean toys. First off, this is all molded in silver plastic. These silver details here are all silver plastic, whereas in the Korean toy it's all the shiny metallic silver paint. And yeah, that is a very interesting development. Yeah, so you know silver plastic, you know what that means? That means no paint to scrape off. So yeah, that would be much more easier to last for play, you know, instead of just having to worry about all the little scratchy bits of silver paint. Yeah, and you know, even these shoulder bits, you know, which you would assume these are just like directly molded in black and then just painted silver. Yeah, I guess they actually took the time to actually just make separate molds for these shoulders and these little wing tips and the innards. And the innards of the treads. I mean, yeah, that is just really good skill and dedication. And also, especially the head. Also, including the head. Interesting antenna head with a crest and little puffy cheeks. Yeah, a bit of a W-shaped faceplate and the minty green blue of the antenna. Yeah, interesting head sculpt, I guess. And of course, the main downside of silver plastic rather than silver paint is that it's just not as shiny. It doesn't have that good luster or metallic sheen to really make it pop. And it doesn't allow for two-tone colors in the case, really the feet, you know, you see these little clawed feet that are obviously part of a beast mode. You know, these of course were just black with the silver top painted, but because it's all one color, that thing really stick out. When if they were just in black, you know, they would just really blend in with the rest of the leg well. But yeah, it's just a little minor complaint here that just because of the difference in molding, yeah, this is just a little thing. And maybe you could just paint it over if that really bothers you, this thing sticking out. Yeah, but for longevity, I guess generally you would like to have silver plastic rather than silver paint. Also, these wingtips are left unpainted. That's a little splash of color lost. Except for the ball launcher, this still has silver paint. I guess there was no way to go around it. And speaking of ball launcher, major change. This thing has a spring-loaded trigger. That is significant because the Korean launchers just don't have a spring-loaded trigger. Yeah, you just have to manually pull it back. They're just not as fun. Not that the spring really improves the force of the launching. It just doesn't go that far anyway. It feels fun, the tactile, just to go spring, just to at least just go hear that good sound there. And instead of just And I know the trigger was slightly remolded to have the little spring in there, but I guess you could just try putting a spring in there, but the Chinese version includes the spring, so that's one for the win for auto-launching triggers. I mean, that's just a simple thing, you know, little quality improvement. So of course that 5mm system lets it plug in the hand, although the tread kind of gets in the way, and the tread and trigger kind of doesn't let it hold very well, so you may have to use one of the side pegs to mount it, which is going to be a bit of an offset gun, but that's going to hold better. Like that, or that. He can't quite, yeah, okay, he can double hand wield it, this giant mecha holding a relatively medium-sized gun. Anime drills are not included. Another major change? This entire back section here, it's all manually hinged. Yeah, just click those wings up and then click that head in. Yeah, so that was all activated like with the spring loads in the Korean toy with that little divot here. You know, that's a good place to put a Mecard ball. And though if you put it in here, it would just all spring up and then you just finish up the rest. But still here, it's all manual. And this thing doesn't even work as a magnet. I mean, they still have the divot, but this is practically useless. Unless it's like in an upright mode and you just kind of balance the ball there. Right? They just totally gimped the gimmick. They totally gimped the gimmick and didn't even leave a little magnet in there so you can at least just put it on there for storage. Yeah, at least it's, you know, it's only these parts that were spring-loaded and not like a fully auto-transforming toy, so I don't know, it's just probably not a big loss, but shame that this just is a residual molding. Maybe you could just custom put a magnet in there. Another subtle change is actually the chest. From looking at the photos, it looks like the Korean version actually has like a smaller yellow chest glowy thing. And even the sides were like molded differently. I mean, it looks like this one has the red border slightly smaller or the black insert like slightly bigger. I mean, that's what it looks like. So yeah, that's a bit of an odd thing to change. As for the articulation, this is a full head swivel. And I guess a cheeksy neck up. Nice ratchets all around, provided the wings don't get in the way, and hinged outward all the way up, get those claws out. And ratcheted elbow curl, and a bit of a transformational wrist. No biceps. Wait, the OG Korean toy has bicep swivels? And separated wrist and claw mount pieces? Man, we're losing essential functions to durable details. But you can kind of compensate with these backward butterfly joints. Yeah, you can kind of do this, which is a lot looser on this end than this end, which is pretty tight friction hinges. Ratcheted legs forward that much, and back that much. Stopper there. Nice ratchety spreads. And a nice thigh swivel, and ratchet knees that look a little awkward because that's really broken up and the hinge is all the way back here. That's for transformation, so you can do like the full bend. Yeah, sticky knee with tape and loose transit. And I guess transformational toe down like this, which, you know, goes along with the claw. And yeah, honestly, it's kind of hard to stand him on these tiny feet. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get him in good natural poses. That means a more dynamic poses without worrying about tipping over. A little tippy, but it's working. Oh, and I suppose this is a partially transformational ab crunch you can do there, so there's still enough space to occupy it that much at least. As for scale, Grandeborn is just about commander size. And the Mega Mecard mechs are always colossal mecha that cannot or never shrink. So this is actually pretty accurate scale, just like a pretty big mech, pretty big anime mech, but not Gundam colossal mech. And the main event, this is a 4-changer, none of which requires the removal of Redron, so first let's get him into his main vehicle mode. Yeah, just manually click that all up and then... yeah, watch out you don't stress that, so looks like you're gonna have to rotate this around first to get that out of the way. Oh yeah, you just rotate this entire section around here. And then, yeah, that rotates all the way out. So yeah, that forms a nice nose cone. Because the arms, you got... The claws are a bit vestigial, I guess you kind of do it like this. Yeah, just butterfly those backwards and just spread those out. There are the little clips here on the forearms here, that the clips are right on the side here. And then you double knee those legs, and then first make sure to fold in both of those heels, especially. Yeah, this one in the back, this one back. Bit of a tight friction on there, so that's a little hard to pick out. And 180 those knees. And then flip out the wing. Oh yeah, and then plug this gun into the holes here. Yeah, the little top gun there. And yeah, there's the air mode, or jet mode. I mean, it's officially called the air mode, yeah, but it's a fictional jet. Major change! This Chinese version removes the little wingtips that flip out wingtips. I mean, there should have been wingtips, but yeah, there is no indication that there would be wingtips except for these hollow spaces here, huh? Left and right. But in reducing the budget, did they really decide those were unnecessary pieces? Just really intentionally remolded those out? I mean, oh, come on, why have to take away from that? Now it doesn't really look like a jet. I mean, the really wingtips don't give more aerodynamics, but it just marginally makes it more like a jet with a slightly wider wingspan, and this it just kind of looks like a hover thing. Hovery vehicle thing. Yeah. Also, it's kind of drooping. If you see here, I think these are little spring-loaded latches. Yeah, but somehow I guess it's just molded so that these are really sunk in, so they don't actually just click in the center. So this is gonna be flooping. Yeah, I mean, it's just held in by friction, but it's gonna drop. That's really disappointing. I'm gonna have to really get in there to kind of fix that so this thing doesn't keep drooping. Oh hell no! Yeah, so since the lack of wingtips is not selling, this is a jet. The front here has to sell. This is some sort of fictional jet. Yeah, with like a flat nose cone and a very straightforward angled minty green window. Yeah, as long as it has some sort of vaguely abstractly jet related thing, you can call this a jet, right? And I guess suppose you could, use the feet here to make it a bit of a skyward turret. Yeah, just to get a very slight more distance on this weak wall launcher. And a nice little spot to just rest a Mecard ball in, but doesn't actually connect. Boo. Now let's make use of these obvious tank treads here. Yeah, just parts form that gun again. A lot of the shaping goes into the reconfiguring the legs. Yeah, also suppose you could just bring the arms forward here. Yeah, that's just about it. And then, yeah, flip the claws all the way up. Detach and reattach and then claws up. Yeah, I suppose you make use of the thigh swivels. Just remember how those legs reconfigure and then flip those down. If you remember how those flip down. Yeah, I think they went this way. Yeah, so that this thing just wrapped around 180, 270. Yeah, I think that's how it goes. Now, it went upside down. This should be upside down. These. Oh yeah, just wrap the leg 180. So yes, so that. Yeah, these different tabs tab into the clips right beside here. Yeah, and then just kind of basically just rotate that all the way up so that the cockpit is on top. And then plug this right in the 5mm port here for the tank barrel. the in-universe reason for having a tank mode, because this mode gives it 9 invulnerability. Yeah, I don't know about the design, because of course this is not a traditional type of tank. Yeah, it's just a robot laying down with, treads attached to it to just really make it a tank. I mean, the obvious goofy thing about being a tank is just only this cannon, like right in front of a nose cone right there, is just the tank barrel. Kind of a little goofy, I guess. And I suppose, this can turn it up, I guess, and make sure you don't press that down, because, those thigh swivels are not ratchets, and I guess, you can kind of go turning around, just shooting it up like that. Rotating. Just rotating all around. It can go 360 at least, with the stoppers on either end here, with a little squeakiness. Pew pew pew. And I guess it rolls a little fairly well on these tiny little caster wheels. Yeah, it's fun to have like a land mode and an air mode. Yeah, but this it is what it is. I mean, this is more for combat than disguise, or just some sort of combat, because it's all in the nose cone and barrel shape. It just was reconfigured to be in a more cooler looking thing. Then the body of the tank wouldn't be so bad. With these claws, just upward claws. I guess those are trowels or plows. I don't know, if you did something like this, I don't know what this is. Okay, now let's make use of the claws. Yeah, first just rotate this up again, so that the car is right up there. Yeah, I guess rotate this around. Yeah, you gotta reveal the beast face. Yeah, so hinge that out. Reveal this head. Yeah, just hinge it back there so that the entire cockpit is on the bottom. Yeah, just claws out here. Basically claws out. And then reconfiguring the legs again in a complicated way. Yeah, so make sure to put the legs here and then wrap those legs all the way around again, all the way 180 again. Those treads. Make sure to get clearance. Click that in. Paw down, and then this middle section here, that you make sure to hinge that before closing this in, because that much of a, because this will move out a bit as it transforms. And then lock it in there. Paw down. And then put the gun on the screw hole that is a 5mm port that is intentional as the tail of sorts. There you have the Jaguar mode. Naturally, the Jaguar mode would be the most agile and nimble with extra teleporting powers. Yeah, that's a very good robotic feline face. The little fangs there and hollowness for a reason. And I suppose, it had fairly good articulation. Basically, the robot arm articulation with the backward here is just basically the same here. Although this hand doesn't really lock in, so you gotta watch out you don't actually break the mold. And only the elbow here is ratcheted, but the ratchet here would have helped. I guess it holds its weight pretty fine, mostly due to the back legs, which the back legs look a little goofy, because it is literally held at a 90 degree only because of its knee joints with ratchets, and it's just this much of a shelf here with the legs mounted in the back rather than the sides like a natural animal. Yeah, I suppose the back legs kind of articulate back here, and then that's a back gun, not a tail. A tail would be more like this. Yeah, but this is not a realistic animal, is it? It's like a multi-changer mecha beast mode. So what you can hinge that up again to get some more kitty poses. Okay, what is this? What kitty pose is this? When you have a multi-changer, one of them is going to be the best than the others, and the others are going to give, in looks at least. So which one do I think is the best mode besides the robot mode? I would say the jet mode, but for this specific Chinese version, it just, no, because it's just lacking parts and it doesn't hold. Because the tank mode's okay, but maybe it's just, as I said, the barrel is the goofiest looking thing, so I guess I'll have to go with the Jaguar as the best looking mode, even if it has some weird legs, weird back legs, but the front looks good. It looks pretty good. Have like a vehicular Jaguar thing and a back turret. Although maybe doesn't hold it, maybe it just barely holds together. Yeah, but it's supposed to be fun, although maybe just a little gangly. Of course, the main draw of Grandeborn is that it's a 4-mode transformer. Now, I guess the Mecard integration is something else. Yeah, but it's great to have this little multi-changer toy, a new multi-changer toy like 6-Shot or even Hello Carbot King Guy / Mini Force Transforce Raybot. So you want to make this a 6-mode 6-Shot? Car mode? Gunbow Blaster mode. And this is the best kind of extra complimentary toy for a toy line of small collectible transforming robot figures. Yeah, just like a fully articulated action figure and not just like some giant pop-up Mecard rolling ramp. Well, there was that Evan King, but that's just more of a giant robot-shaped container brick. The Chinese version, produced by Choirock's Chinese company partner Entire, has major differences, which is otherwise identically the same toy. So yeah, that's interesting. I mean, the Chinese version has some pros and cons compared to the Korean version. So I guess if you're in the mood for a fun, multi-changing toy, and you don't mind the main Mecard pop-up card gimmick that just comes along with a nice multi-changing robot, then yeah, I think this is a good pick. Yeah, but now you have two options of Grandeborn, the original Korean version or the Chinese version, so which one should you go for? I guess depending on what you really want. I mean, yeah, the main appeal of the Chinese version was that it's like $50, $60 rather than $80 of the Korean retail. It's an all-in-one package with the included main figure and a little Mecard game element. And then you may still want to get the Korean version, I guess, just for the better paint and the main gimmick and a better jet mode. And maybe a version in which its central rotating part actually locks in. Yeah, but between 60 and 80 plus 40 for shipping, which will run you over 100. Yeah, maybe this is just gonna be better, just more affordable to get. Unless you happen to be really local to Korea, then maybe the Korean will just be better to get. As this was at the end of Season 1, only Grandeborn is available in China at this time, while the Mecard Ball Mega Season is probably going to take several months before China launches Mecard Ball Season 2, or the Mecard Ball Mega Season, with the rest of the 4 out of 5 mechs. Yeah, so you'll probably know what to expect with the Chinese version of like Akan Sphere and the others. Like, these would be like silver plastic instead of the shiny metal. Yeah, here and here and here. A ball launcher with an actually spring-loaded trigger. And lowering the cost by the removal of unnecessary spring joints as these. And maybe some useful ones too. I think that shoulder click joint will be removed in the Chinese version. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.